Hello, everyone. Today is Friday, September 5th, 2025, at precisely 1 o'clock p.m. in the afternoon. So, I woke up at 9:45 a.m. this morning. I went to bed at like 12:45. So, of course, I had to get up maybe like once or twice to use the bathroom. So, I don't remember how long it took me to go to sleep, but one of the first dreams that I had a nightmare about going to a Wendy's location. And I was one of the gang stalking dream manipulation nightmares. Excuse me, I had a nightmare about being wrongfully kicked out and permanently banned from like all Wendy's locations. But like, why did they choose Wendy's of all places? I don't know. But as I said, I be trying to avoid. This didn't happen in real life with Wendy's, but um, basically in the dream, I just got like kicked out and banned from Wendy's for no reason at all, and I got like more wrong. I almost got wrongfully arrested and thrown in jail for trying to ask what did I do wrong and what am I banned for, you know. And then dreams like that caused me to wake up in real life, wake up traumatized, and then you know it seemed so real that it's one of those type of bad dreams that it seems so real, and then when you wake up, walk into the bathroom in real life, and then you trying to, you know, wrap your head around that. Oh, it was just a bad dream. It wasn't reality. Excuse me, but I had some other wild dreams too. But when I woke up, I forgot what they were. So, I thought about talking about the dream soon as I woke up, but I know I would have a hard time going back to sleep. Excuse me, if I would have did a video talking about it. So, but yeah, as I said last night, I wanted to live stream, but I was trying to keep the rest of the day peaceful, but I damn sure got perped this morning. You know, I went to go. I had a Please don't attack me for trying to have something healthier, which included being a little bit more expensive. Okay. Excuse me. So I tried out this new restaurant, a new place, well, more like cafe, I guess. And I had like some kind of breakfast waffle sandwich. It was like I think it was ham, egg, and cheese. And even the waffle, I'm sorry, even the eggs were shaped like a waffle too. The eggs were shaped like a waffle. So they had the regular waffle, and then they had the egg shaped like a waffle, and they had ham and I think cheddar cheese on it, and it had, excuse me, just like a pinch of powdered sugar, but then you had to add syrup and whatever, butter or whatever. But I had a smoothie. Excuse me, I had a smoothie. Excuse me, to go along with it. You know, and the smoothie was. They said it was like spinach, mango, almond milk, and banana. You know, I mean, it was very sweet. I don't even know. It was so sweet that I don't know if it was sweet from the fruit or if it was if the it tasted like as if the almond milk was sweetened like vanilla almond milk or something. But it was good. Excuse me. But well, that's not one of the type of places that I could afford to eat at very often, you know. But I was glad to get to try a new local business and have something healthier, you know. But excuse me, for dinner I'm gonna have the leftover and I had that on DoorDash. So thankfully, I gave DoorDash a couple of days of a break. And then yesterday I ordered with Uber Eats or whatever, So DoorDash, yesterday. I'm sorry, DoorDash this morning. So I ordered through DoorDash this morning. And it was later this morning. But I woke up this morning and started organizing and straightening up in here. Well, I didn't do it completely, but I did a few little things here and there. And I gathered my dirty towels to get replaced with clean ones. And when I went outside to get my food or whatever, they had they had a midget that came out of his room the same time I came out my room. And it looked like the midget was checking out. And it's like, well, damn, they got midgets gang stalking. And then when I went outside, the midget came out on, when they were packing up to leave or whatever. And they had a white truck, a big, huge white, look, I think it was a Dodge Ram truck. And the perp had his arm hanging out the window. Excuse me. It was a white Dodge Ram truck, a perp. It was one of the trucks that sit extra high, trying to intimidate people. He had his arm hanging out the window showing off. And when I tried to take a picture of the bastard, they blurred the picture. And the perp hurry up and put his arm back inside the window, trying to gaslight me and make me look stupid or crazy, But, yeah. So, yeah, oh, wait, no, I went to go get the ice at first, and that's when I saw the midget. And then immediately after I got my ice, I brought the ice back to my room, and then I came back out and got my food or whatever. And they were, packing up to leave out and stuff, They have perp criminals that come and follow me to where I'm at and pretend like they're doing normal business, but nah, they're here for illegal surveillance. But yeah. But I need to try my best to not be scared. But, when they have narcissistic control freak fake TI perps that try to talk to me, excuse me, and I hate how they try to manufacture and instill fear and paranoia and dish out unsolicited advice to try to make you feel bad while defending and agreeing with the perps. And they try to give you unsolicited advice, try to tell you what to do and what not to do and what to say and what not to say. And I'll be like, motherfucker, I didn't ask for your damn advice. Unsolicited advice. Or they'd be like, then you better not say this on YouTube, and you better not say that, and you better not do this, or you need to do this, and you need to do that, and you need to learn how to do this. Like, you hurt my feelings every day and every time you freaking talk to me. And then I'm the bad one when I cut off all contact with your fake ass. And I'm tired. Excuse me, when you talk on have a conversation with a narcissistic control freak fake TI perp, and they try to instill, they try to make you paranoid. I hate that word paranoid, but they try to manipulate to try to make you feel over extra paranoid when normally you don't feel that way, but they try to make you spooked and scared. And they're over exaggerating or fear mongering. And then they have you having panic attacks and stuff like that. After talking to them, or you end up feeling upset and angry talking to them. You feel upset and angry and lose like 2 and 3 nights of sleep after talking to them, and like it's like running through your head like a broken record. There's hurtful things that they did and said to you. Excuse me. So. But yeah, so I'm guessing that me consuming the Himalayan pink salt been having me sleep harder. Especially when you make Soleil salt water out of it. But I still feel like my body needs more sleep. I still feel like I need more sleep. So today I'm not gonna need help with any funds for dinner, and I'm hoping that yeah. Tomorrow I'm scheduled to have to check out of here, but since some of the was yesterday I have received just enough funds for another hotel night, but I had like only $1.24, so that's why it was used on food for like yesterday and today. And then I said, well, I'll spend what I need on food, and then either today or tomorrow I can see if I can ask for help to make ends meet for like enough funds for tomorrow night, but and it's like the stalking cult, they want to make sure I'm on and other people say that too, that they want to make sure the target is homeless and on the streets so that the stalkers can make more money off of harassing us more when we're homeless. But when you're in your house, they kind of can't harass as bad. Excuse me. And they want you to be out in the open and always be seen, so they can continue to just attack and harass and won't leave you alone or give you any peace. But so, and then they have people that let you know that that they be stalking and watching you. Or they let you know that they're watching all your social media and everything. And then, when there's a perp that found out your YouTube channel and you didn't tell them, the narcissistic control freak fake TI perp would yell at you and victim blame and say, well, you shouldn't have told all your business. You shouldn't have told them your YouTube channel. I'm like, I didn't tell them. I don't know how they find out. Or if they yell at you and victim blame and say, you shouldn't tell all your business. Why are you telling what hotel you're in? I'm like, I didn't tell what hotel I'm in. The stalkers illegally find out, and then they fake humble themselves and be like, oh yeah, you're right, because the stalkers do know everything. And I'm like, yeah, why the hell you victim blaming me if you claim you're going through this too? It seems like they just want to make you lose hope and make you feel like a failure. And just constantly putting you down while they pretend to be supportive and here to help. When you didn't look for them or ask for their fake ass friendship. When they voluntarily hound you down for years and years and years, demanding your phone number or demanding your email or a way to direct contact or communicate with them, just so you can, for them to talk to you and then give you unsolicited advice telling you to ignore your stalkers. And they're sitting there, defending and agreeing with the stalkers, defending and agreeing with the cops against you. Even if you're innocent, they would defend and agree with the courts and the judges and everything. They defend and agree with the system while pretending that they're against Freemasons and all that. But the moment you speak out against someone being a Freemason, they attack you and tell you how disgraceful you are. Excuse me. So, and they're constantly sending people to intimidate you, especially when you speak out. And yesterday they had someone who more like does a cooking channel, and he did a video a day or two ago about suffering gang stalking and being forced homeless. And everybody, he had some support, but about half of the people thought he lost his mind and went crazy. So it's like you can't even have like a cooking channel and talk about gang stalking the whole time. Because if you if me and my writings or whatever, for me to talk about gang stalking and trying to publish my writings, they make sure you don't get credit because they feel like you don't deserve any support because they think you're crazy. And I thought about another fiction short story to add to the list of short stories about and call it, Cursed with the Crazy Virus. Excuse me. And it would kind of remind you maybe of a movie about how when they might have like a movies about a contagious disease or a plague or something like that. It'll be like that, but I'm trying to figure out how to. I got some idea of how to write the story, but excuse me, I got some idea about it, but my body needs more sleep, So I mean, as I said, after having the the help, yesterday I got help, and then after getting like the food for like food for today and food for yesterday. Now I have half the money left, and then so like either tonight or tomorrow I will try to see if I can ask for help to make ends meet for another night. Plus also for help for a way to get food for tomorrow as well. You know. But you know, it's hard for me to try to live off of 2 meals a day. 2 meals or even 1 meal a day because I be feeling like I'm starving, you know. But and I mean, the stalkers condemn and shun me. You know, I mean, I be feeling like I'm suffering, you know, if I eat like 1 or 2 meals a day. And then the stalkers be like, well, all you do is lay in bed. You're not even active. You don't need 3 meals a day and this and that, whatever. But if I had kids that were not eating 3 meals a day, or if I couldn't afford to feed my kids 3 meals a day, then, they would contact child support. I mean, to say, my words are not coming out right. I'm still feeling the effects of sleep deprivation. They would contact CPS or something like that, you know. Excuse me. You know, and it's like, well, I know kids are still little and they're still growing or whatever, but they need like, I guess, all 3 meals per day. But, you know, I guess they get smaller portions because they're little kids or whatever, you know. But I'm like, well, this is something new I learned. I didn't know that adults need to eat less than kids, or that kids need to eat more than adults. Excuse me, you know. But when the stalking criminal cult that want me murdered, they try to criminalize anything about me being alive. You know. So or they might be like, well, other TIs don't, fake TI perps and regular perps be like, well, other TIs, they don't get to eat 3 meals a day. You know, so ever since being back in New Orleans, and more like since January of last year, it's been on rare occasions that I get to eat 3 meals a day. And then if the rare occasions that I do get to eat 3 meals a day, it's like I feel bad. But I've been eating 3 meals a day almost all my childhood, you know, and all my adulthood life. Almost all my adulthood life. And these internet strangers just gonna rearrange and change my life. They hide their faces and names, but you know, they would criminalize me eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then they lie and say that I have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then snacks, 3 meals and 2 snacks per day. And if y'all see my videos of me documenting what I eat, you only hear about the breakfast and the dinner that I ate. You don't, most of the time, you don't really hear about the 2 snacks in between or any lunch. So, and then they think that they can make fake profiles and talk about 1 meal per day, 1 meal per day. That's it. One small meal per day. But my twin sister was the one who told them to treat me like this and call me fat and greedy, while she can be cooking on a Blackstone and get praise for it. A Blackstone griddle. I'll die never getting that experience. But people don't try to control what she eats. She could be housed and they donate her $2,000 over a dead dog. And I lost my brother. Well, we both lost the same brother, and it was a struggle for me to even get hotel help out of the freaking hurricane, trying to save my own life. I mean, and they got so many people who co-sign with evil and abuse, but then when the victim fights back, the victim is the one that's called a disgrace, and you're forbidden and not allowed to call yourself a victim, or you get even more disrespect, or people look down on you. You know. So like that, for you to deal with a narcissistic control freak fake TI perp that's gonna talk to you and say stuff like, and you better not let the perps know that, you better not tell anybody on YouTube that you're about to drive for Uber. Well, the perp's gonna know no matter what. So why you talking to me like that? You don't tell me what to say on my YouTube channel, and your ass is way on a different side of the world. You're not even in America. You know. And it's, try to shame you and make you feel bad. Or they have people that's like, say for example, if you might have like a narcissistic control freak fake TI perp that's all the way in Uganda or something. I'm just using that as an example. Or someone that's all the way in Pakistan trying to police and tell you, give unsolicited advice on how you should handle your targeting and your homeless. And it's like homelessness. And it's like, you don't even know our system here in America. You know, how our system and everything, how it operates, They're making my nose itch. And then they're the ones with zero content. And then quick to lie and say that you're triggering and perping them. But they're the ones who hop on and try to tell you to ignore everything. Or they narcissistically lecture you about how when I'm fighting the fake criminal cases from being illegally swatted, and then they try to be like, and you better not go in that courtroom acting a fool, and you better respect the judge, and you better do this, and you better say yes and yes ma'am and no sir, and you better do this, and you better do that, and you better not lose your temper, and you better keep your cool, you better do this, you better not go there acting a fool, you better not go in that courtroom cussing. Like, I have Tourette's, and it's like, and then they try to be like, well, I'm trying to tell you, you don't have to respond to the perps. I'm trying to tell you, you don't have to respond to them. You can ignore them. You can ignore them. After I just got finished telling you, I hate people telling me ignore the perps. And then when I'm out and about, gotta be out in public and dealing with heavy perping and everything, I'm getting like more frustrated and more agitated and on the verge of just wanting to give up and getting just frustrated and feeling like I can't do this no more. It's just too much pressure, And I get wrongfully punished every time I document or expose any gang stalking or tell what happened. And then you can't confide in someone that's a narcissistic control freak fake TI perp. They're making my nose itch because they will victim blame and say, well, you would have been wiser if you kept your mouth shut. You would have still been in that hotel. And then they'd be like, you don't have to talk about your gang stalking all the time. But then they get mad and falsely accuse you of perping them and play all kinds of psychological games and frustrate you worse than what the regular perps do. You know, and sometimes that just make me want to just withdraw from everybody and go just live like a freaking hermit, you know. And but that have times when you long for support and friends and people that's gonna listen to you or whatever, and you don't even get that. They say that they're here to support you, but then they're defending and agreeing with the perps and the court judges and cops the whole time, and the crooked lawyers, crooked fake lawyers, public offenders, and all that, you know. And then they narcissistically lecture you talking about, don't worry about what they got. You know. And then sometimes they weaponize the Bible to perp you while claiming to be Christian and targeted. You know. And then the fake TI perps, you know, they don't get hated. They get embraced. They get hyped up and get more respect, the popular fakes. You know, that's playing both sides. And they got their own cult following, and you're forbidden and not allowed to out them. And nobody will believe you when you say this perp was perping you, when you say the fake TI perp was perping and narcissistically abusing you, or defending and agreeing with the perps, cops, and judges and Freemasons behind closed doors. You know. But wow, it's like one thing about when the popular fakes, they're making my chin itch, when they want to pretend like they're warning you and exposing COINTELPRO while they're secretly behind closed doors. They are secretly working with the COINTELPRO and getting paid and playing both sides to gaslight and discredit you. Because, like, how you going to be claimed to be Christian and targeted, and then when I say you a narcissistic control freak fake TI perp playing both sides, then they'd be like, you need your medicine, you're crazy, go see a psychiatrist as fast as possible. Well, wait a minute, on our conversation the last night, oh, didn't you tell me stay away from psychiatrists? Now you flip and switch, and then you want to talk about the hive mind and AI and everything, and groupthink and all that, while you're participating in the same hive mind, you know. But then when I talk about family members or whatever perping and abusing me, they try to defend and make justifications and try to rationalize and be like, well, you know, don't you know that you don't think Mark is just mind control to treat you that way, or you don't think that you know, Ramona has kids to feed too, or kids and grandkids to feed too. You know, or they might be like, well, you know, your twin sister, she's not a perp. She's just under mind control and just not aware of what she's doing. I'm like, oh, they know exactly what they're doing, willingly in cahoots with the perps and traffickers. But in the TI community, you're considered as disgraceful for naming names and publicly shaming your own family as perps. And then certain people that claim to be targeted, it's like they act like as if they put their family on a pedestal and just sit there and tolerate the abuse and just keep quiet. Or they might say something behind closed doors but not publicly. Or it's like an unspoken taboo or unspoken rule that if you're targeted, that how disgraceful you are for saying that your own mother gang stalked you, when they have people's own parents putting them in the program, you know. But people always talk about, respect your parents and respect your elders. But, and they always throw that in your face. And even with just narcissistic abuse, even if it's not gang stalking, even if it's just narcissistic abuse, they'll tell you, respect your elders, or, honor your parents or whatever. But, I don't have the Bible in front of me, but, and I don't want to get the quoting mixed up, but, the Bible also saying, parents, provoke not your children to wrath. So when you are a parent and you narcissistically abuse your child, or you gang stalk your child, or you gaslight your child, or you put them, or you MK Ultra your child, you're provoking your child to wrath, which will make them inevitably have no respect for you, or to disrespect you as a way to fight back against the abuse that you're putting on them. The mind control and the psych games, like when you're fighting back against the psych games and the mind control, whatever, whether it be a foster parent or whatever caregiver, a birth parent, or what. And then certain kids really are badass and disrespectful. But they have other types of kids that are not being badass or disrespectful, but they're just defending themselves the best way they know how against antagonism, gaslighting, Darvo, and abuse, and all that, and with the reactive abuse and everything. Excuse me, So, like, right before I came on here, I saw a YouTube video where a dad was combing his daughter's hair, and the daughter was screaming and crying, and she wanted to comb her own hair, but they were saying that the girl was being disrespectful, and but then the dad was saying stuff to, like, antagonize, but, like, well, if you antagonizing the girl, but then everybody in the comments siding with him, saying, well, oh, she being disrespectful, and you need to discipline her right now or whatever. But then he's sitting there, calling her names and antagonizing and provoking her or whatever, or yeah. So I mean, but then they would say that the girl is disrespectful all the time, I don't know, but I mean, I'm talking about people in the comments, but then they have certain parents on YouTube gang stalk, not really with the gang stalking or nothing, but it's like, if they have certain parents that do YouTube content, see, they're making my nose itch, and how people will say that, that they antagonize and provoke their kids for the world to see, and they do it for clicks and views or something like that, or for clout, or they exploit their kids on social media for fame, clout, clicks, and views, and likes. And those are the ones who get praise, or they have certain families that, have their kids publicized online, and they do family content, and they falsely parade themselves as the perfect happy family that people would envy or be quote unquote jealous of. But then again, behind closed doors, they got some unseen stuff going on. And then when a child one of the children gets a certain age and say, well, my mama used to, they get their own channel and be like, well, my mama used to do this to me when I was a kid. My mama used to do that. My dad used to do this. And then they try to shut that child down because the parents already have some established fame and respect. So then when they have the so-called trouble child or problem child or rebellious child, you know, and you know, and they might be like, oh, she just hate her mom so bad she just gonna lie on her mama like that, when actually the girl is telling the truth, you know. But then you see everything come crumbling down after the truth is spoken, you know. But then even after the truth is spoken and the child, you know, get a little bit of, you know, I don't want to, what's the word? When they get a little bit of notice, ow, and they shocking my left thigh, the back of my left thigh with the weapons. So when a child gets some notice, you know, sometimes, I mean, I guess people might temporarily hate the parents for a short bit and maybe attack them. And then after a while, excuse me, the parents end up regaining the respect back, and then people end up bullying that child on social media, you know. Yeah. But they'll make it like you're the troubled child or the crazy child or the out of control, disrespectful child, when you're fighting against family cult, narcissistic abuse, and you're the scapegoat that speak out. And sad to say, if you're supposed to be the scapegoat or chosen one, but then you turn out to be a sodomite as a result of being abused as a kid, you know, and then you be the one that turn into a gay or whatever, and then change your identity because I guess maybe MK Ultra, mind control or whatever, abuse, and to cope or whatever, you know. If your name's, you know, Kenneth, and then you want to change your name, change your identity to Kendra, you know, to escape from the abuse that you've been through, you know. And then social media or not, the moment that the scapegoated child speaks out against being abused, you know, the whole family and everybody want to shame you, you know. Or say if you go to church and they try to present themselves as the fake happy perfect family, and then after a while you go and confide in your pastor, and to say, well, pastor, my cousin had been doing this to me, doing that to me, you know. And then, you know, they shame the victim that speak out, you know. But anyway, I'm gonna get off here because I don't think I can go a whole hour and talk, because the phone data, I mean the Wi-Fi and everything. I know the video takes a while to upload here, you know. So I didn't want for it to be way like 9 and 10 o'clock tonight by the time this video upload. So I'm gonna get off here, and I don't know if I can you know, I'm gonna try to work on more writing today, and I don't know if I can get a nap, but I'm a get off here for now. I love y'all, and I'm gonna try to write as much as I can today. I'll see y'all.